What's going on, people? So I figured I would make some type of video about this at some point, and I was gonna make some good edit where I made like my cartoon character, and I used, my voice, made a nice voiceover, and paid an editor. But no one's gonna view it anyway, so I figured I'd just take the Kanye approach and just film it off my phone. So let's talk about the Livewire for a minute. I'm going to just speak from personal experience because there's plenty of people that have already have spoken about, the Livewire and how they're screwing up. My own personal experience is I'm one of the first customers. My bike is number 232 out of 500. And I bought that thing because, I was going through a breakup at the time. And she didn't let me ride motorcycles. Her parents didn't want her riding on the back of motorcycles, so I couldn't have a motorcycle. And I went a year without a motorcycle for the first year of my life since I turned 16. So the second we broke up, I went over to Harley, and naturally, I always wanted to like Harleys. Um, the whole club life and whatnot. And I see a sport bike, a Harley Davidson sport bike, and then you get on it and it takes off and it's a lot of fun. And then on top of that, they lie to you and say, yeah, it'll work on a Tesla charger. Yeah, it'll charge in 30 minutes. Oh yeah, you can go 150 miles on it, no problem. It's all bullshit. So they ended up lying out their ass, and since it was a lot of fun to ride around, I was like, hey, this is finally a Harley I like. Let me pull the trigger on it. I end up buying the bike, and everything's cool until I drive it 5 minutes up the road, and the first thing I do is try to figure out how to make the Tesla charger work. It doesn't. It just doesn't. So I tried returning the bike, and they already thought I was a pain in the ass. So they're like, look, we're not going to deal with you anymore. You're not going to return the bike because you drove it off the lot. You should have known what you were buying. I'm like, you're the one that told me all about it. They're like, yeah, well, take it up in court or whatever. Anyways, that ended up happening. I tried returning the bike. They didn't want to take it back. Within 3 days, I put 1,000 miles on the bike. And for reference, if you own a Livewire, after the first 1,000 miles, it's like any other motorcycle. They want to check the connections, and they got to change the oil, make sure there's no shrapnel in there. And they didn't know how to do that. They didn't have the right tools, and they didn't know how much it was going to cost. So this started a whole cabaggle of me leaving a review online. All right, so I left a review, and I complained to Harley Davidson Motor Company, and I let them know what's going on. And essentially, I bought this $30,000 motorcycle. It's my to and from, and now it's a paperweight because if I drive it another mile, they're going to blow my warranty. So after going back and forth with them for 2 weeks, Fort Myers, Rockstar, the dealership, they ended up doing the service, and I guess they had a lot of pressure from the motor company. They didn't charge me because they didn't know how much to charge. So I just said, look, how much is it going to cost going forward so I know how much to maintain my motorcycle? They had no idea. So let's fast forward like a month and a half later. I have 5,000 miles on this bike, meaning I have to bring it in for service again, because this electric motorcycle that's supposed to have low mileage or service intervals has to be serviced every 5,000 miles. Go figure. So I bring it in for the service, or I call them and I say, hey, it's time for my service. Once again, they don't know how much it's going to cost. They don't know how to do it, yada, yada. So I complain to the motor company again, and eventually they tell me to come into the building, and they say, hey, come on in, it'll be $225.25 and we'll take care of you. So I go into the building, and the general manager comes out and he says, hey, you're a pain in the ass. We don't want to deal with you anymore. We called all the other Harley Livewire dealers, and they're not going to deal with you either. And I said, is that the game you want to play? And he said, I'm not playing. And I said, I'm not either. And Sturgis was right around the corner at the time. I had maybe 60 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and I'm like, you know what? This would be good for the channel. Let me go out and ride this electric motorcycle to Sturgis. It's an American tradition to go on your motorcycle and ride it to Sturgis. This will play out real well. So I just wung it. I mean, go ahead and find it on the channel. And Harley Davidson Motor Company takes notice of this. They follow me on Instagram, and they say, hey, we think this is really cool. Send us some photos, some videos, and we'll share out your YouTube channel. By the way, guys, you never shared out my YouTube channel, and I'm just hitting 100,000 subs. When I had 60 subscribers, it would have been really cool for you guys to share it out. It would have blown me up way faster. But we'll just move on. So I end up doing the ride, and this is peak COVID. It's 2020. And Harley Davidson only sent 2 people out from the motor company because of COVID hazards, yada yada. And what they ended up doing is flying out an extra few people to meet me. Joshua Zeitz, the new appointed CEO at the time, was going to come out, but once I made it there, he canceled his trip. Haven't heard a thing from the man. I've heard things from other people, but I don't want to name drop anyone and get them in trouble. Hi, guys. Anyways, it was all kind of downhill from there, because I got to, like, complain about the Varaka family, right? And then I became in the good graces of Harley Davidson. So I got to complain on the dealership, and then I got the respect back. But right when that happened, Livewire sold itself to itself, or Harley Davidson sold Livewire to itself, cut the price of the bike in half. So now me as a customer that spent 30 grand, put like 5 grand down, I'm stuck with it because now I'm 15 grand underwater because they just dropped the price in half because they poorly marketed an over-engineered motorcycle and then didn't sell any that well because nobody knows a damn thing about it. What did you expect was going to happen? So now, Livewire is a new company. They won't acknowledge me as a creator or a person or anything, but meanwhile, there's other creators that they acknowledge that are very small. So I know they watch my channel, but they just won't acknowledge it. Now, my bike went out of warranty on top of this, so I still have good relationship with Harley. They'll still communicate with me. Livewire, I don't, and it's weird because they're the same exact company. They operate in the same exact building. If you call them, like if you call Harley or you call Livewire, yes, they're going to be different phone numbers, but it's going to the same building in Milwaukee. So it's kind of weird because it's like, hey, how can I have a good relationship with Harley but have a bad one with Livewire? Anyways, my bike ended up going out of warranty, and the Livewire, or the Livewire 1, or Harley Davidson Livewire, the touchscreen modules on them are faulty. I've gone through 4 of them. I've had to go through 2 out of warranty, and what is going on is, if you're in a state like Florida, Georgia, or any place that has a moist, hot environment, once it gets hot and wet, eventually the outer seals on the clusters end up failing, and a little air bubble will get in, and that air bubble will grow and grow and grow and grow until the whole screen just falls apart and doesn't work anymore, or just stops working, or like too much moisture gets in, shorts out the connector on the inside. So I reach out to the company. I got a generic response on that, and I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I reach out to the CEO, Kareem Donez, directly, and instead of getting a response back or anything like, hey, we'll look into it, hey, that's a great idea, he just blocks me on LinkedIn, followed by Livewire blocking me, followed by me getting a ban on Reddit, like within like hours of each other. So if you don't, just test it yourself. If you post any of my videos on Reddit, your account will be banned. So, like, effectively, they're trying to cancel me because I brought something to their attention that I was annoyed buying over and over and over again, on top of trying to support their product all this time, on top of them going woke and keeping my mouth shut and just trying to support the brand. I've kept my mouth shut on a lot of things, but it's been kind of a shit show the last few years, so I'm now declaring bankruptcy on the sole purpose to get rid of the motorcycle. After I crashed my bike, they wouldn't even like message me back or anything. When I had communication before, it was a little bit hostile, but it is what it is. We move on. I just want to get this bankruptcy moved on, move on to bigger and better bikes, and yeah, test it for yourself. I am completely canceled on almost every platform except for YouTube. So yeah, man, subscribe to the channel. Hope you guys enjoy it, and if you guys give me some type of suggestion on what to do, I might actually do it, because I'm waiting to get my license back, and I'm sitting on tons of equipment and nothing better to do. All right, guys, well, hope you enjoyed the story.